How's it going, guys? Star Citizen just had a whole ton of information dropped about base building, and we're going to check it out, which is hosted on Board Gamer's channel.
It's the future of Star Citizen, and it's the actual culmination of multiple different game systems coming together. So why don't you play the video?
Oh, I'm excited for this one.
It's been a while since we played. I do want to jump back in.
If there's anything like Rust or like Atlas base building and all of that stuff, as that
you mean you log in and everything's gone? Because when I think of Star Citizen, my mind doesn't go straight to base building. My mind goes to spaceships and flying in outer space.
Yeah.
Stand for.
Oh, I think one of the gameplay loops is that you're going to have to gather all the stuff and bring it back. Yeah, you can see people are hyped about this one.
Oh, yeah, the old blueprint.
Look at that.
This looks like a lot like a hab in Starfield. Just saying. That's pretty clean. A little
garage.
Garage. I was gonna say shed, but garage is a bit more accurate. Oh, is that material gathering?
Yeah.
Mining.
So this is like a laser you can mine. They're saying that you have to be like participating in any of that stuff, so it won't be automated like in some of the other games where it just like gathers all that stuff for you.
Throw down your storage boxes.
Look, it's mining all the stuff.
You are right though when you're going back to like Rust and stuff. Yeah, how does PvP, or I don't know if there's PvE systems where you get attacked or something like factor into this? Because part of like the fun of the base building in a lot of games, you know, Ark Survival Evolved, Atlas, Rust, is that you could get attacked. You could attack other people and steal their stuff. You know, that kind of stuff.
In Atlas, we got radioed at 2 a.m. in the morning. We all had to wake up out of our bed.
My phone was blowing up at 2 a.m. Get online, we're under attack. I was like, 50% of me was like, I don't care. The other 50% of me was like, I have put way too many hours of my life into this game to lose our base.
Look, you can build hydroponics and have your plants and like going on the water and stuff.
That is pretty cool. So it is modular, right? So you can like snap these together is what they're sort of showing here.
Yeah, I just like the design of like the whole thing. I think it looks really cool. When it comes to base building, you want it just not to look like a shed, basically. A lot of these other base building games
a
look
Minecraft
like a shack. Yeah, like this one actually looks sick.
I wonder if you can get like alt appearance options as well, because there's different like manufacturers of spaceship in Star Citizen, so
yeah.
The verse.
All right. So base building. All right. It breaks down into two really large gameplay sections: planning ahead and prepping, and then you've got the on-site where you're actually going to build. So with that, you need to figure out what your goal is. Is it to have a home with a nice view and relax? Is it to have a trading post where you want to create and sell items? Is it to gather resources available and move on to the next area? Or is it to be off-grid and be completely self-sufficient?
Which one are we running for?
So with that, with your prep and everything,
I like the idea of setting up a little shop.
So the recipes, everything in the game is fabricated from a blueprint.
Wait, I'm just going to pause it here a sec. So, acquired via reputation rewards, mission rewards, rare shop keepers. So you're not just going to, you can't just load up a game, gather resources and go and build. You're going to have to get the blueprints as well as the materials. So you're going to have to do different missions. I guess that's where, so like me and you are playing, right? If we had more people playing, everyone can go do missions, come back, and we all might have different blueprints for the base that we want to build, I guess. Yeah. Unless it's like a
I hope it's like that, and you can kind of have like collaborative building rather than it just being like one person has to build it ahead. Like, because I can foresee when you want to build like a mega base or whatever, you're definitely not going to have the resources for it. So hopefully when it comes to that, you can actually like build as a group or is it a company? I can't remember what they called in Star Citizen.
I think it might be a
Organization.
company.
They're called organizations in Star Citizen, I think. Yeah.
Nice. But also, it gives extra value to those mining ships because there's so many different ships that you can get.
Yeah.
And the mining ships are so cool, but it's like a mining ship versus a really cool fighter ship that's really flashy and has like looks amazing and has guns on it. But if you're going to need those materials now to build your base, those mining ships are actually a lot more worthwhile.
Definitely.
Via reputation rewards, missions, or rare NPCs. With any blueprint, you can actually do research on it and then create different variations. With materials, ranging from the common to ultra rare, you might find them at the local shop or have to travel around the universe to collect them.
From common to ultra rare.
Refined, simple materials, or even complex components will all go into the fabrication. With this, then you got location, location, location. First area
My biggest fear
is high security. So you must purchase the land. The base is actually invulnerable because of the planetary shield tech. A security will show up to protect it as well. You pay for the privilege. You're taxed. So at this point,
that's really cool.
The best resources available. You won't have access to the best resources available on the planet. If you don't pay your taxes, the shields will go away after a period of time, and the base will become derelict.
That's sick.
No.
That is sick. That's sick.
But this is low risk, low reward.
So if you just want to build for fun, that's
security.
your option. It just costs a lot.
Again, you must purchase the land. It's owned by an independent corp, gang, or faction. Again, you don't have access to all the best resources on the planet. The base is vulnerable. AI NPCs will show up and protect the base if it's attacked. The protection will escalate over time. Player can also build defenses to help mitigate this as well. And then it's medium reward, medium risk. Then you've got lawless. So this is no protection other than what you build. There's shields, anti-air. Players can disable the shields.
You don't even have to buy the land. You can just go somewhere and build.
Them. High risk,
That's cool.
high reward. Since there's no taxes, no protection fees, you get a high return on the resources that you collect.
Wait, pause for a second.
Now, there's some cross-shard and server...
Like, I can foresee that the no security option being an actual sick option if you have a bunch of people with you. If you're just like, oh, let's all gather up and build loads of bases with loads of different like security options, you might actually just be better off than going to the high security area. And I can see like organizations like renting out spaces to other people and be like, you can build here and blah blah blah. So it might actually be end up being the best option if you
provide your own protection to other organizations.
Yeah, exactly. And they just sit out there. You're always gonna have someone on, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I also think if you're a small group or just a couple people that want to build a base, there's a lot of different planets, right? And it depends how you can find someone's base. Like, if you can just do a scan from a system and find, like, oh, there's so many bases on this planet, then that's going to be nuts, right? But if it is, you need to fly into a planet and just manually fly around and look for someone's base, I think it could be pretty easy to hide, especially if you know, do it in a very, like, forested, covered area or something. So
yeah.
We have to learn a bit more about how that works, because I will also say there's a lot of times in Rust where I thought I was in a really secluded, hidden location, and my base is just gone the next day.
Little Timmy's around the corner just waiting, like, so yeah.
Yeah.
Meshing considerations that will kind of adjust this design in the future, but we'll get into that later once we're really building it. So from here, you've got the tools. So this is what we would consider a surveyor. With this, we want to actually cater to everybody's playstyle, whether you're solo or in an org. With this, you got different buildings that you can produce, from small, medium to large to XL.
Oh, so you can
XL.
So with the surveyor tool, you can only build the small buildings. With a vehicle, you can build small and medium-sized buildings. With the Galaxy, you can build small to large
We're going to need that Galaxy.
And then, obviously, with the Pioneer...
Look at the size difference.
And it still works as a mobile base. And we'll talk about some of the more expanded features that we're adding to it.
The Pioneer seems like so much.
Wait,
and then
it's a mobile base?
A mobile base!
Space, not just on the planet.
I need it.
So from here, you set off on your journey.
But where do you put it when you log out? It needs to be somewhere safe.
You put your tool down where you want. You launch the drone. that is built into the machine, and then from there, this allows the player to access the base building and also land claim mode. With the land claim modes, the player can actually change the size and position of what area they want to claim, and it also shows you the cost and taxes associated with it. If it's in a taxable zone and you don't own the land, this interface will default to it. So if you own land or it's in a lawless area, it'll automatically go to base building mode. So with the overhead view of the land, you can actually place down buildings exactly where you want. You can see the resources beneath the surface, and then you can also place multiple buildings before you actually build. So you can see how it will all kind of come together.
Oh, I
You'll
like
see
that,
the
yeah.
resources
Lay
that
the
are needed
blueprints
for
out.
it. And then you can also switch back and forth between different modes, which are showing off the resource network and how you link basically power generators to consumers. And then the player can move or deconstruct existing buildings right now with no charge. Fabrication. So when you basically build these buildings, they don't come with any furnishings. And if you didn't bring any with you, then you want to build a fabricator. So depending on what you want to build, there's different sizes of them that support buildings from decorations, armor, weapons, components, and even ships.
Like loads of
Fabricate your own weapons.
So like base building mode, you need blueprints, resources to craft what you want. Everything fabricated is produced from it produces a physicalized entity. Stats and quality will depend on the quality of the materials actually used.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a so there is a rarity system.
You built your decorations. Now you can actually fill the room the way that you want to fill it. So furnishings can be purchased at different locations, or they can actually be fabricated. You can do that via first person or in a dedicated mode in the surveyor's tool.
I feel like this is going to ruin you because you love collecting
different types
things.
of buildings. So you've got utility style, which would be garages, freight
especially when it's
elevators,
for player
landing
housings
pads,
and stuff
storefronts.
like that.
And then you've got extractors.
I also
with
love setting up mining
extractors,
outposts.
We want to make sure that nothing in regards to resource gathering is fully automated. A level of player engagement is always needed. So as Nick talked about before, there are different types of commodities, radioactive, perishable, etc. What you'll be doing is pulling out full containers. Then from there, it'll be repairing, or there's wear and tear associated with it, or even misfires like you saw in Thorsten's talk and Guillermo's talk yesterday. There's also upgrade paths for making them more efficient or resilient. Power generators. So with
I just want to pause a sec. So they were just talking about like there will be a certain amount of needed player interaction.
Yeah.
We doing what, QTEs or like quick time events when
I don't know. I think
mining?
he's just talking about like you have to go back and interact and check on it and kind of maintain it rather than it just being a fully automated system where you don't need to go back and it just gets those resources for you, because there are a few games out there like that where you just plot down the machine and then you literally just never have to go back. I don't know how did it work in like Starfield? Did you have to?
It was like that.
Oh, okay, exactly. That's what
you set everything up. You linked it together. You didn't have to worry about it ever again. Unless
they're probably like firing shots at Starfield, because it seems like a lot of the stuff they're just trying to make it a bit more interactive here. So
yeah. But this is interesting as well, because they're talking about the power sources now, which again in Starfield, it had multiple different types of power sources, and it depended on the planet you were on, how much power those would give. So there's a lot of like depth that can go into this kind of thing, and they've even got like geothermal options here, so this will be interesting.
Yeah.
Power generators, there'll be some that are more cost effective as well as effective in different areas. Solar panels will not always work in darkness. Fuel generators will need to be filled up every now and then batteries to store excess power. Then you've got producers, so things that will require the players to combine different resources to produce new items. And then you've got defense, so anti-air, anti-personnel, and then shield generators.
That's what excites me.
Yeah. Could you go back to like the freight elevator? There's like the freight elevator bit where it talks about all of this stuff, like having the garages and like landing pads is going to be so cool. And then you were talking about wanting a store. We could also like have a shop that people can come and like visit and stuff like that. This is exciting stuff to really have like base building in the game, and I think it's when I'm going to like start properly playing it and jumping on, because that core loop of like building up a base with friends is going to be like the greatest.
That's the any of these survival games when you're with a group of friends, are setting up a base and getting going. That is like the most fun part. Getting set up is like it's the journey, right? It's almost more fun than when you are just dominating the planet or something. It's that risk of like someone could attack you. You're gathering the resources, and just real quick, you can see here on the scan which they talked about.
Yeah.
So you can see like the resource probability of what's going to be like in your land. And this one also says law status hostile. So what you build here on a planet that isn't protected, and the law will be hostile to you. Like I wonder how that like factors into it.
Or maybe
it could just it could just be concept art.
Yeah. No, that's really cool.
No, I'm definitely excited to try these kind of systems out when they eventually like make their way into like the public build version of Star Citizen, because every time that we've jumped on, we usually leave big gaps between playing. There's a lot of new stuff to check out, and I think what we're now really wanting out of Star Citizen is progression and persistence in the like items and levels and resources that you have. So if we know we can jump in, there's not going to be any wipes. There's going to be the progression systems in place, so we can actually like level up and get building bases and doing missions and completing different parts of the game. Then that's when it's like more of a proper playable experience, which is what I'm like waiting for.
Yeah, one of the things that I really liked about this pitch is that most of the things I agreed with when it comes to what I kind of want out of it. A lot of time you see like these pitches for what the developers are going to do, or games about to be released, and you're like, this system, I want it to be like this way, and then they just make some crazy decision. But this one looks like it's got the rarity there, it's got the resource gathering, it's got the cool items that you want to build, and all the stuff as well.
I'm intrigued by the fabrication and also the size difference in the little guy down there on his trolley to the mobile base up here is nuts. Like, how many people do you need for this thing for it to sort of work and run? Because some of those ships you need like 10, 50 people, like depending on the size of the ship. But
so I think the video is actually split into chapters. So if you go to the actual chapter before this one that we actually watched, which is like the freight elevator one, it kind of links into this because it'll be like hauling all your items from different Star Citizen systems and stuff. And it's really cool because it's not a feature that we've experienced in Star Citizen yet, and it just makes things a lot easier. It's quite a simple thing, but it's cool.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. So as you can see, hangars, they will become persistent and personal, meaning you can stay there as long as you want.
I think the actual video is just before this bit, actually.
Where right.
As you see fit. Your hangar won't just
the
be
life
a
as a
place that you
hauler.
leave
I think it's like
ship.
there, basically.
It will become a key base of operation.
There you go.
I'd like to show you a short video to demonstrate how freight elevators will change how you view your hangars and how you use your hangars.
It's so cool. It's so cool. Because we were always wondering like how you bring your stuff down and like why we can't get certain things.
Yeah, unload your
ship.
Like yeah. The cargo holds in the ship, were always pretty a cool thing to imagine filling up and actually going out and, doing a run and getting a load of credits. So this is how it works.
Like even this is a gameplay job in itself. Like people will just be hauling cargo like around the place.
You're in an org with like 100 people.
Like,
what's your job? I'm the cargo boy.
Well, Death Stranded, Intergalactic Edition.
A lot of different sizes. This is a job for those who like Tetris.
Yeah, the Bridges organization.
Link, make a little like conveyor belt line.
It's like dumb gameplay, but like it's actually gonna just be fun doing it. It's stressful, especially if it's like volatile like cargo that you're moving around and stuff like that. Look at this bad boy. Look, we're pushing some trolleys. Wow. This is gonna be us on our base building. Like
I can't come. I'm on the trolley.
I'm on the trolley, boys.
I wonder how it will work with like, stolen goods and contraband and stuff.
Yeah.
No.
This is what I'm super interested in, like loading up those vehicles, those tanks.
Because there is so many ground vehicles as well. Like Star Citizen isn't just spaceships, which is nuts.
your gun caches.
Have your own little personal
Yeah.
corner with your stuff. Yeah, you definitely couldn't do that before, like when we've played.
Yeah, that was it. That's all I wanted to kind of really show, basically.
It like we kind of are talking about. It kind of is looking like they're getting a lot of these. Although we're not seeing it all tied together, which is what we want when we play. We're seeing a lot of the different systems that are being worked on, I guess, over the last years.
Yeah.
And it's, for me, it's exciting to think we can play that all linked together, you know, so we can load up our ships like we can see here, we can fly, we can do the base building like we just watched, we can go out into space and go into some space battles and do some bounty missions or something, and that's where, for me, it's like a proper complete game experience that is what I've been wanting for a while from Star Citizen.
Yeah, definitely. They're getting closer. They're getting closer. Every year they're getting closer, but it's been so many years.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's the base building and the life as a hauler.